Yeah, good morning, students. In the previous class, we had a discussion on formatted input and output functions. Now, in today's classroom discussion topic, we are going to discuss about the decision making statements, which we can call it as conditional statements, which are supported in the C language. Now, I would like to share my screen. So, this session is basically decision making and branching statements. So under this decision making and branching statements, we are going to discuss about the simple if else statement, and then nested if statement. We are going to discuss that. The objectives of this today's session will develop the students' knowledge on decision making and branching statements such as simple if else, and nested if else. So these three categories of conditional or branching statements we are going to discuss in this particular session. So coming to this simple if. So the syntax of the simple if is like this. So if some test expression, or we can call it as a condition, you can make use of condition here. So if this condition is evaluated to true, then the code which we have written within this curly braces will be executed. Otherwise, if the condition is false, so it will not be executing this particular code. Fine. So now if you go for this flow chart, so it will be like this. So we are coming to this condition. So this if statement. So text expression. So we are checking the condition here. So if this condition is true, then the statement block will be executed. So that means whatever the statements we have written in the curly braces, they are going to be executed. After that, we are coming to this statement X. So if this condition is false, then we are not executing this statement block. We are not executing this statement block. We are directly coming to this statement X. And then the next statement, it will be continued. So this is what a simple if statement. Now you take a simple application program where this simple if can be used here. So you are supposed to read 4 different variable values A, B, C, D from the keyboard and evaluate the ratio of A plus B divided by C minus D. So you want to compute A plus B divided by C minus D value, you want to compute that. So if C minus D is not equal to 0, then only we have to compute this ratio. Otherwise, if C minus D is equal to 0, you should not compute this ratio. Fine. So what we are doing here, so we are declaring A, B, C, D, 4 integers we are declaring here, and then we are asking the user to enter 4 integers. So percentage A, percentage B, percentage C and D, and we are checking whether if C minus D is not equal to 0, then only we want to compute the ratio, and then we want to print that ratio. So A plus B divided by C minus D, because we want this ratio is of float value. So then we are typecasting that A plus B, we are typecasting to float, and similarly C minus D is also typecasting to the float. So this is what the typecast operator we have already discussed in the operators. Fine. Then you are printing that ratio is equal to this ratio value we are printing, percentage of backslash n, then ratio we are printing that. Fine. So this is a simple example here. So if the condition is true, then we are going to execute a block of statements, group of statements. Fine. So this is a group of statements we are executing. Then this is a question for your homework. So write a program to find the biggest of 3 given integers using simple if. So it is very easy. Suppose if you are given A, B, C, 3 integer values if you are given that. So how do we compute the biggest among 3 values? Just you can write if A is greater than B and A is greater than C, then A is bigger. Okay. So like that you can able to check the remaining two conditions also. For B is the biggest and C is the biggest value. So try on your own. So this is what is a homework problem based on the simple if. Then next coming to this second type of statement, if statement is the if else statement. So in the previous case exam if statement, simple if, we have just executed if the condition is true, we have executed some block of statements. So else, if the condition is false, if you want to execute another block of statements, then we can make use of this if else statement. Fine. So this is the syntax here. So based on this condition, test expression. So based on this text expression, if the text expression is true, so if the text expression is true, then what it is doing here is that it is executing the set of block of statements, true block of statements, it is executing that. If this condition is false, then the else block of statements are executing. After executing any of this block, next control will come to the statement X. So either true block is executed or false block is executed. It is coming to this, statement X, and it will continue that. Fine. So this is what we are using here. Here this is a flow chart for a simple if else statement. So this is an example program where we are generating that. So this is an example program here where we are trying to generate making use of this if else statement to check whether the given number is even or odd. So when we are given a number, suppose 10, so we will check it is a even number. How we can check if it is a even? Suppose if you are given 13, it is an odd number. So how we can check whether it is a even or odd? Simply by making use of modulo operator. Fine. So we are reading the number, okay, and then we are checking num percentage 2 is equal to 0. Then we are printing that given number is even. Else we are printing that given number is odd. So this is what a simple if else statement here. So based on this example here, we have given a homework problem for you using if else statement. So program to check whether a person is eligible to vote or not. So for this particular problem, what you have to do, you have to input age of a person. If age of a person is greater than or equal to 18, a person attains the age of 18 years, then he or she is eligible for vote. Otherwise, he or she is not eligible for vote. So that is what simple if else statement we can use to check whether the person is eligible for vote. Okay, so try to solve this particular problem. So now it is the reflection spot of 1. So assume that x is equal to 5, y is equal to 0 and z is equal to 1 initially. What will be their values after executing the following code segment? Anyone? So we have written a condition x double ampersand y. So you can answer this question based on whether when the condition is said to be true and when the condition is said to be false. So what is that value of x5? So 5 double ampersand logical and y value is 0. Okay. So is this condition is true or false? So 5 means it is a true and 0 means it is a false. True and false is false. So this condition is false. So if this condition is false, is this statement is executed? No, it will be executing y is equal to 10. So then what will happen here? Y is equal to 10. So 0 will be gone. Now y will be stored with 10. So x is as usually 5 only. Z is as usually 1 only. Fine. So this is what the behavior of that particular if else statement is. Then next coming to this third type of decision making statement is nested if else statement. So in this nested if else statement, either in the if block you can make use of one another if else statement, or in the else block you can make use of another if else statement. Okay, in this particular example, in the if block we have used one more if else statement. You see this. So in the if block we have used one more if else statement. So similar to that, in the else block also we can use. Then it is called it as a nested if else statement. So in this particular example, we are given that this if else statement is in the within the another if statement. So if test condition 1, then begin if test condition 2, then statement 1. So this is nothing but not a single statement, it is a group of statements block. Else we are executing statement 2. So then the else for this outer if is this statement 3 and then statement x. So after executing either statement 1 or statement 2 or statement 3, we are finally coming to this statement X, which is not within this if else block. Okay. So the same for this particular syntax, if you draw the flow chart, it will be look like this. So this is the entry point. Now once you come to this if else nested if else statement, first we are testing the condition 1. So if the condition 1 is true, then we are again testing the condition 2. So if the condition 2 is true, then only statement 1 is executed. Okay. So if the condition 1 is true but condition 2 is false, then statement 2 is executed. So if the condition 1 is false, then statement 3 will be executed. Ultimately, after executing either statement 1 or 2 or 3, we are coming to the next statement X, and then the program will be continued to the next statement. Fine. So this is what the flowchart for this nested if else statement is. Now coming to this a simple program demonstrating this nested if else statement, that is a program to find the biggest of given three numbers using nested if else statement. So same problem we have also solved using simple if statement, also we have solved that. Sometimes in examination they will ask especially make use of nested if else statement and solve this particular biggest of three numbers problem. Okay, then we have to use nested if else. So what is nested if else? So we just now discussed that either you can use if else statement in if block or in the else block. Okay, so now if you see that here in this particular problem, so we are reading the three numbers from the keyboard. So scanf percentage d percentage d ampersand a ampersand b ampersand c. Then we are checking if a greater than b. If this condition is true, then again one more if else statement we are executing if a greater than c. So if you want to say that a should be a biggest among these a b c three values, so a must be greater than b and a must be greater than c, then only a is said to be big. Suppose if you take a b c values like this, okay, this is 20, this is 5, this is 10. So if a is said to be a big, it must be satisfying the condition a greater than b. Okay, if this condition is true, then we are going to check again a is greater than c, then a is big. In this particular case, both the conditions are satisfied, a is big. So it will not come to this else or this else, it will not come to that. Fine. Suppose if you take the inputs like this, for example, this is 5 10, this is 5 and this is 20, c value is 20. Now what is happening here? So again we are checking a is greater than b. Yes, 10 is greater than 5. Okay, 10 is greater than 5. Yes, condition is true. Then we are checking this is a is 10 is greater than 20. No, in this particular case, which one is biggest? So C is the biggest. So if this condition fails, if this condition is true but this a greater than c condition fails, then C must be the biggest. So it is not B here, it is must be a C. C is the biggest. So similarly, if you take this, this is 5 and this is 10 and this is 20. So in this particular case, a greater than b condition fails. Now we will come to this else part and we are checking that is b is greater than 20 is greater than 10. No, then we are printing c is biggest. For example, 20 and 10, this will be there, for example. So in this particular case, a greater than b condition fails, but we are coming to this else part. Is 20 greater than 10? Yes, b is biggest. Fine. So this is what the nested if else statement logic we are using to solve this biggest of three numbers. Fine. So how it will be executing, also you understood that. Now this is the reflection spot 2. So what is the dangling else problem? This is